Hello and welcome to Cracked Open, a podcast guiding you on your journey to becoming a vessel of unconditional love. This is your host, Beck Milonis, High Priestess, Channel, and Activator. Join me on this series as I share reflections, insights, and channel transmissions from my journey of walking the initiation path. Each episode is a unique transmission containing supportive frequencies to facilitate the deepest healing, activation, and reconnection with your soul. I invite you to open your mind and set the intention to receive this episode into your heart space. Let's go. Welcome to another episode, beautiful souls. I am so excited to bring this wonderful woman, this divine feminine goddess on board today to talk to you all. This is one of my soul sisters, Ashlie Lisanne. I'm going to introduce her properly in a second using the official bio, but I just want to say how Ash and I met. She doesn't like me calling her Ash, but I keep insisting.
It's okay now, you know.
Okay, we've broken her in. Ashlie was actually one of my first friends in Bali. So like the first week that I arrived in Bali, when I was a life coach, actually, a relationship coach. Ashlie was sat on a table behind me with, I think you had a puppy with you. You had a dog with you? I think you had a puppy with you. You did. You were taking care of someone's puppy. And I was like, that's the cutest fucking puppy ever. Anyway, I saw that she was a life coach. And I was like, oh my God, she's a life coach too. And we got talking. And then we had this beautiful friendship evolve out of that. Ashlie was actually my first ever coach, like personal coach. So I worked with Ashlie. She was the one that helped me to let go of the having to hustle my tits off all the time and work hard. And I remember once Ash said to me, your task for today is to do absolutely nothing, or like see how long you can sit and do nothing. And I was so challenged. I was like, oh my God, what? Sit and do nothing? What? So Ashlie was trying to push me onto the trajectory of my healing path for a while. She was one of the first people to see this vision of me on stages, and she always had a lot of faith in me. So it feels amazing to come full circle and have her here. Ashlie, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's so funny to kind of reminisce on when we first met, because I don't think I've thought about when we first met for years.
A lifetime
right?
ago.
And like that first part of the journey when we were in Bali in the guest house on the balcony.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
and how far we've come. Oh, that gives me chills.
Okay, so Ashlie Lisanne is a true modern day mystic and manifesting muse, and is here to support the true energetic transformations that support you in creating a life you love and are meant to live, whatever that means for you. Her vibe is simple. You are unique. You have a unique gifts, dreams, desires, and purpose. You have a journey to take, lessons to learn, and energy to master, and she is here to guide you. Whether you're designing your dream business and manifesting money, attracting love and creating conscious relationships, or learning what it truly means to have it all, Ashlie has the wisdom, tools, and resources to help you make it happen. So my first question to you, beautiful soul, is, how did you get to be this beautiful goddess that you are here today, and on this vibe of having it all? I know you recently came into union with a soulmate, which I really want to talk about today. We're going to talk a lot about soulmates, because she's kind of, I remember the conversations we have had waiting for this shit to happen, like, where is he? And the frustration. So it's so exciting to get you on here. But I'm going to hand the mic over to you. Tell these beautiful humans who you are and the journey you've been on, and we can go from there.
Okay, thank you so much. So yeah, first of all, just want to acknowledge you for having me on here. I'm so excited to be here with you and talk about this with you, because of the conversations that we have had over the last, I guess, 4 or 5 years of us knowing each other. So my journey has changed a lot. It's been a big roller coaster, and the only way to describe how I got here was through an absolute shitstorm, right? I didn't arrive easily and safely here and with no chaos in my life. I went through every possible chaos that we could imagine. And it was how I learned to navigate that journey that got me here. It was how I learned to navigate my own chaos. Yeah. And channel being here in this moment. So for me, I started this journey from day one. from my birth, I was birthed into crazy energies and relationships and things that I had to navigate from a young age. I just wasn't aware of it, right? And I took myself down a crazy path. I chose drink, I chose partying, I chose hustle, I chose resistance for a very, very long time, until the universe decided enough was enough. And I went down some really big health rabbit holes. I really struggled with my health for a long time. And I struggled with allergic reactions. I struggled with my last businesses. I struggled with stress-related health concerns. And it got to a point where I couldn't take it anymore. And I just ended up saying enough was enough. I was on the floor. I was crying. I was screaming at the universe. And I've done this a lot. I mean, full transparency, I did this last week. I was screaming at the universe, like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you putting me through this lesson again? I can't do this anymore. Why me? Why me? And voices started to drop in. Guidance started to move me, and I started to listen. And the more I listened, the more I moved, and the more traction I made in my life, and the more intuitive I became. And gradually I went on a beautiful healing journey. We have not got time to discuss the whole of that journey, but I followed the nudges of my soul. I followed my own wisdom. I developed my own intuitive gifts. I worked with mentors. I worked with coaches. I worked with healers. And step by step, breadcrumb by breadcrumb, I ended up here. And in the last 12 months, I have completely changed my life. I manifested my soulmate. We live together. I'm stepping out of the hustle and into the divine feminine of being held, and more divine feminine than ever. And it feels more magical than I ever could have imagined. So I guess that kind of sums it up, but it's a very...
It's interesting because something was coming through. You guys can't see because I block myself off when this is happening, but there was a lot of energy moving in the grid of this episode as Ash was talking about the struggle, like the fucking struggle and the initiations you have put through your body. I didn't intend that this was where this episode was going, but I would love for you to talk into what came out of, because I know your issues with your allergies and your body and the places and the scooter accidents and all the things that you had to go through, that lesson of like letting go of the difficulty and learning to ground into your body and like the appreciation and love for your body, because that's such a pivotal self-love piece, and how you've learned to really create harmony and trust that it's allowed to be good, and let go of that piece of I have to suffer and go through all this stuff and not see it like I'm being put through this and I'm a victim, right? Like that was the core thread of what I was feeling. It was like really empowering what you were saying of like, I went through all these terrible fucking things, but I didn't, well, there were probably moments when you did, but you didn't allow yourself to get trapped into that, and you've risen into this sovereignty. So I would love to hear more about that.
It's really interesting that you say this, because every year on my birthday, I step into a new version of me. So it was my birthday yesterday, and today I feel that new version of me. So I have been writing posts today about my body. And I think a big part of my next step of my wisdom is talking about the fact that I'm spiritual and I'm fat, right? And I'm like so okay with that. Yesterday I was at the theme park and they couldn't get what's it called, the harness down on my boobs, because my boobs are just too big. Like they're enormous, right? And there was a time in my life where this would have crippled me. Like this would have crippled me and made me cry. And the post I was writing this morning, it's like, but I'm so much bigger than my body. And I believe the reason that I've had the health complications and the scooter accidents and the car crashes. So for those of you who are listening, do not know me, I've had some wild accidents, like big accidents, and my body is covered in scars in ways that I came headfirst off a scooter and really damaged my head for a while. I tore my rotator cuff. I flipped a car. I've had 3 people drive into the back of me. I am just these weird, crazy moments. And I've had really serious allergic reactions, and I lost my last business because of my allergies. I've also battled with my hormones and PCOS and my weight and weight gain, things like deficiencies and just all kinds of my body. And I had a really traumatic birth, and I was told I wasn't going to survive, right? And I used to hold that as my label, right? That I was a sick child. I was in and out of hospital from the age of 5. So I used to hold that as my label until this last 12 months. And what I realized is my label is I have been a success story since the second I was born. Like, they told me I was going to die and I succeeded against all odds, right? It was just the story that everyone else placed on me that taught me that I was sick, that taught me that my body was against me. Now, this doesn't mean that I don't still have allergic reactions, but what I noticed is I have an allergic reaction or an accident when I'm too spiritual. And this is a thing that I've learned on my journey, is you can go too far into the spiritual and forget to be a fucking human being.
Feeling
Now,
real triggered. I'm feeling
I
real
know.
triggered over here. No.
Yeah. Let it trigger you. Let it wash. But listen, we forget that we came here at this time, in this day and age, to learn how to be a human. People like you and I, who are so easily tapped in and so naturally see spirit, feel spirit, navigate spirit and energies, and that has never really been foreign to us. Like, we've naturally had that within us. What is foreign to us is humanity, right? It's dealing with human beings. It's dealing with our human bodies and how that grounds us. So I noticed that when I have a reaction now, it's because I've gone way off, and they're like, remember that you're a human being. Like, then I can feel my body again. And so now I find these reactions kind of exciting. I don't find them as a burden anymore. I'm like, oh, I forgot I'm a human again, and I'm just off on other lands and astral projecting and whatever I'm doing. And so my body has been a tool of wisdom longer than I ever even knew it was. And that was because I was speaking to spirit as a child, and I was astral projecting in my sleep as a child. My mum would find me in different rooms of the house every day because I would just wake up in another room and I'd journeyed to other lands in my sleep. And it's my body that is able to ground me back in every single time. And I believe this discord we have with our bodies, whether that is with your appearance, whether that is with your health or your hormones, it's because you're meant to learn how to live in your body. And that's your only mastery, not somebody else's body, not the body of the woman that you see online and you want to be like. You're not meant to learn how to live in their body. You're meant to learn how to live in yours. And when you master your human body, your spirituality, your spiritual connection, your connection to love, your connection to all that is, your ability to manifest blows up. It goes enormous, because all you're meant to do is learn how to stay calm in this human form and navigate the energies around you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I love what you're saying, because that was my journey last year. And I've been through similar things: body dysmorphia, illness, chronic pain and stuff like that. And I was really shown a similar concept of like ascension is actually true. Ascension is through the body. And so much of ascension and spiritual awakening and enlightenment is about escapism. And actually, for many of us, we're already super fucking tapped in, and we're super evolved and ascended in so many ways. And our task and our job in this lifetime is to really fucking anchor into being human, taking care of our body, humility, humanity, compassion, love, right? Conscious relation, and learning to have pleasure and sensation in being here, the simplicity of enjoying food. I see you always enjoying food on your page, which I love. Like, always. I can have full orgasms eating food, guys. This is like an amazing whole thing that you can experience. Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
And I used to fear sharing food.
Yeah.
I used to be embarrassed about sharing food on my Instagram, but I love it. And part of cooking is a huge part of how much I love this life.
Yeah.
And vision. Sorry, I cut you off.
I know there's so many things that we cannot experience on other planes and realities, like past the human form. They don't have sex. They don't have food. They don't have puppies. They don't have rainbows. They don't have fucking a good day with the ocean and the sun on your skin. Like, there's so many things, dancing, you know, being in your body, all of these things that we can enjoy being human that we forget about. And that pleasure and that sensation and that ability to manifest comes from us feeling in the present moment and being present with the sensation. So that's tantra. We can talk about a whole fucking this whole thing on a podcast some other time. But I love that. And I love that you said that. And it's so beautiful. So talk to me about this transition then, from this like hating and feeling like a victim and blame to then feeling that pleasure in life every day, and how people can start to do that and how that's helped you to call in love. I would love to hear.
So I don't know what term I'm allowed to use here, but it was when the thing hit, right? And I caught it and I lost all sense of taste. Okay. In 2020, I was unwell, shall we say, and I lost all sense of taste, right? So for 6 weeks, I couldn't smell or taste a thing. And do you know how activating that was? Because I was like, what is this life without this pleasure? And I realized how much satisfaction I was getting out of food in an unhealthy way, and how much I missed the pleasures of food in a healthy way. And I really started to look at how I was using it in a way that was abusive towards my body, and how I wanted to use it in a way that was expansive towards my soul. So not being able to taste made me really miss food. And when I was journeying into wanting to step out of being alone, stepping out of having to do everything alone, I wanted to manifest my partner and a divine counterpart. I started to look at my life, and food was a big part of how I did this. I looked at my life and how I treated myself compared to how I would treat it if I was dating someone and they were here. So I looked at the things that we do every single day that I love, which is food. Okay. So every single day when I'm cooking for myself, I would use the phrases, oh, it's just for me, I'll just make this. And, oh, I'll just do something quick and easy because it's just for me. And I started to realize how that was putting that energy out in the universe, that I wasn't that important, and I wasn't prioritizing food for myself. I was prioritizing and glorifying food for other people and cooking for other people because they were far more worthy than I was. So a big part of my transition was learning how to cook for myself. And I've always known how to cook because I grew up with my mum and my grandma as big cooks. Like I've been baking for my whole life. But I started to cook for myself as if I was cooking for the person I loved the most, right? And at that time, it wasn't me. Now it is. But at that time, that person I loved the most was this invisible soulmate energy that I had no idea who it was. So I started romanticizing life when I was making my meals. I started romanticizing everything that I did as if I already had a partner. And how would I treat them? Because I definitely spent my life putting partners up on a pedestal, right? I always acted as if, it was funny because when I was single, I would act as if I was the most important person in the world, and female empowerment and girl power and all of that stuff. And then the second I would get into a relationship, they came up here and I was down here. And I was really playing around and dancing with that not being healthy, and how did I want it to be, and how could I prioritize myself more so that I can communicate my priorities when I do meet the right person. And it was really a dance and an exploration of exploring how I used to be in relationships, how I wanted to be in relationships, but mainly how I felt about myself within these relationships, right? And how I felt about myself in all relationships, not just romantic. And the pattern was that I always felt like no one wanted me around, or no one wanted to be invested in me. I realized I wasn't invested in myself. And so choosing to invest in myself as a human, and realizing that I'd spent my whole life in escapism, blaming the world because I knew I didn't belong here. And I don't belong here, right? Like, neither do you if you're listening to this. The chances are we don't belong here because we're not from here. With these beautiful esoteric stars sparkling around in the sky, or, with these deep souls who know far more than we do on this human level. And I never felt like I belonged. But instead of choosing to act like it's me and the humans of the world, I started to realize that I needed to become part of humanity, and I needed to learn how to be part of civilization and not feel like this isolated, alone being. And it's funny because I've always been super social, and everyone who knew me before would have called me an extrovert, whereas the people who meet me now know that I switch on the extrovert button. and the rest of me is, you know, wildly introverted here. But it was the journey of choosing to be a human, actively choosing to love myself as a human being and not love everyone else more than me.
Yeah, I love that. There was a few things you said in there that I want to touch on. One was that you said that you had this strong independence, and then literally the minute some guy came along, you were just like, I fucking self-abandoned, and now suddenly they're my whole world. And it's so interesting. I have the same tendency, had the same tendency. And there's this fear of like, if I get into a relationship, I'll abandon myself. There's this movie, I think it's How to Be Single, and Rebel Wilson says you've fallen in the dick sand or something. Like, look, there
Oh
you go.
my gosh, yeah.
Sand. And that was my tendency, to fall in the dick sand. Like the minute a cute guy pays me attention, I just fucking like wee myself and I forget who I am, and I like almost can't fulfill my purpose because I'm too tied up in them. So I love that you said that, because I was really like relating to that, and I was like, oh my god, I've done that too. And it's like, how can I not self-abandon and still prioritize myself and still make myself number one, but be open to relating and connection. I also love how you said about that piece of the humanity and like walking amongst the humans, because again, it's like, if we're not doing that, how are we meant to help and evolve other, you know, help others to evolve and ascend? Like, we're here to serve humanity, right? Like, we're not on this fucking pedestal better than everyone, which is spiritual ego. I just spat, that was cute.
You
see,
just really lit something so funny in my life for me, because I have this tendency, and we say it's the ADHD, or we say it's the sensory overload, but like my best friend is also called Ashley, and like Brando will be walking around, right, and I'll get sensory overload and overwhelm, and I get it, and I know it's a thing, but it goes to the point where it's almost like low blood sugar, and they both go, has she eaten, right? And it's like, when I do get too much into the like into other people's energy, because you take other people's energy on, right? When it's too hectic, it's like the universe tips my blood sugar and I have to eat. And it made me realize that what we were talking about, bringing me back to my body through food and pleasure, is like re-bringing me back into the human world. And then I can just go out and do it all again. But we all joke about the fact that I have to eat when the humans overwhelm me.
Yeah, I mean, we are human, and we aren't. Like, if you chose to come here and be human, you're fucking human, right? And I remember I was so obsessed about a year ago about connecting to all my goddess timelines and parts of me who were ascended goddesses, and that was great, and it was so powerful. And my guides were like, yo, like, this is the lifetime where you're going to bring all that wisdom together, and guess what you chose to be? Like, you're a human, bitch. Like, you know, like, you chose to be a type of human for this, which is so important, which means that my flaws, my humanity, the things that I fuck up, my body, all of these things are so important. So I love that. Let's change the trajectory a little bit. I would love to talk about how, you know, in the past we both had this tendency to attach, well, it's kind of not changing the trajectory, it's going more on the losing our independence or putting people on a pedestal. We used to attach to, because we're super psychic, we see these timelines with people. I want to talk about this because it's hilarious, because I've done this and I still kind of do this occasionally. And there was a specific person for you, I remember for years you were like, it's him, and I was like, like, yeah, I feel it, but like, also be open. You're like, no, like, I'm determined, I need to go to Australia. And you were so set. And it was almost like this false twin flame template that we both needed to let go of, and this attachment, right? So let's riff on that, because I feel like we're gonna blow some minds right now.
So in 2018, I was shown this person, and then I was shown like 1,000,001 signs that we'd had all of these lives together, and we had. Now, earlier last year, I was shown a lot. So I have a really huge power to be able to connect to the timelines, right? So I can see all the past lives. I can see other people's past lives, help people tap in. And at the moment, I'm really working a lot with like Dolores Cannon teachings. And this last year, I was shown a connection, and I was able to heal and break it. So I still believe all of the things that I knew to be true back then. But here's the thing. So souls have met for lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes. That we have that as a fact. We know that to be spiritually true. Now, the problem is people can come here to this life and they have that as an option on their journey, but both of these souls don't follow the same path. And what I know to be true in the twin flame journey is most of us in 2023, we aren't ending up with our twin flames. And I still believe you probably knew who they were. And every single person who you dated within that kind of mirrors them. So I had it where everyone I was dating mirrored the same person over and over physically. Like they had the same human like description as this person. Now, the biggest lesson that I had last year was I had to consciously clear that contract, right? So more often than not, this is a contract, and most of us have labeled it as twin flame. Instead, it's a karmic tie, and they're two different things. So your karmic tie is a contract that you might have made on your very first life, and you've had 10, 15, 20 lives in between, and you've seen them in every single one. So it feels like a twin flame, but the twin flame is actually when you're two halves of the same soul. And there aren't that many here in 2023 because we have
I personally don't even know if I subscribed. Like I honestly feel like it's super fucking disempowered. I know that souls can double incarnate. Like you can split your soul and double. I know that that's a possibility, right? A potential. But if this was the most pinnacle fucking lifetime that we came here for this ascension, why would you want only half of your energy? Like it defeats the purpose, right?
I agree.
It's also super disempowering to think that I am not whole and complete on my own without some other person. And so many people that think they're with their twin flame, this is the harmful part, are actually in these trauma bond relationships because a twin flame brings up these feelings in your body and there's this push pull, you know, and it's this fucking toxic relationships basically. And when you get rid of the need for love to be like this dopamine hit or this adrenaline rush, right? Like that adrenaline rush of, oh my God, like I had a guy in my past who I had this really intense soul connection with. We've definitely fucking merged in some timeline. We've merged to one being, like we both know that. And we've discussed that. But when he would touch me, I would get this rush of energy through my whole body. And it almost felt like an anxiety, like it was my Kundalini was being activated, but it was also like this anxious, like fireworks, or like what you know when they say like your skin is on fire, or you get heart palpitations, and it's like this nervous reaction in your body. That's actually a feeling of not being safe, or it's a trauma bond, right? Like that feeling. A soulmate makes you feel grounded, and it's like an exhale, and it's like nervous system regulation, right? So many people think, oh my God, it's my twin flame because I'm having this full dramatic fucking meltdown and it's this and that, we must be together, and there's so much attachment, and so they're settling for these relationships which are just mimicking their pattern of relating from the past, or their anxious attachment or their avoidant attachment or whatever it is, because they never learned what secure, safe love feels like. And so much shit out there in the media and in movies and books is like this fairy tale fucking whirlwind, passionate romance, which is butterflies and lighting on fire and all this stuff. And it's actually like, you can have that passion. Of course you can have that passion and that sexual attraction, that chemistry, but a true soulmate is always going to make you feel safe and just like held and nurtured and supported. So it's like a mature love that you're moving into when you let go of the need for it to be this fucking dramatic push-pull chaser runner dynamic story. Like, and it always teaches you to love yourself. Those dynamics are teaching you to love yourself. That's what these people are here for. They're bringing you back to that self-love so you can have safe love, and you can call in a soulmate who mirrors that safe, stable love for you. But you have stuff to say, so I'm going to hand it over
Definitely.
to you.
So yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. There are things that I want to unpack a little bit. So first of all, I blame social media for the glorification of the twin flame relationship. It's just not. There are very, very few people who have the twin flame journey in 2023, and I don't think I've ever met anyone that has a genuine twin flame journey. But we have these karmic ties that we have to complete, and this will mirror over and over and over and over again. My karmic tie was my dad's. At the end of the day, it was my dad, and the lessons that I had to learn of loving a man with alcohol and substance abuse and what that meant to me, and being enough for someone who doesn't. And that was the whole journey of this person that I kept mirroring and having this experience with. And we never had a relationship. We never dated. We never had love. It was just a thing that I knew this person represented the lesson that I had to learn. But at the time, that lesson felt like we were meant to be together. but it was that he was meant to teach me. And I saw him twice when I got here, and then I was like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I just knew that this wasn't the person I was meant to end up with, that was going to help me to get to the next level. And as someone like you've just said about the soulmates, the soulmate is meant to make you calm. I don't believe it's a mature love, because this is the most playful and immature love I've ever had in my life. Like, it's an inner child fucking playful love.
I love that. I have to say I love that. Yeah. And I
Yeah,
retract it. When I said mature, I meant like it's not
yeah,
toxic. It's not like playing
no,
games and like run
for
a chase. So
sure.
that's what I meant by mature. It's like
Yeah.
there's
And
respect and
I
reverence.
want you to feel like you get to be a kid again. But like, I never had a safe parenting. And this is where we go with the soulmate relationship. Like you've just said, we weren't taught how to love or be loved. We weren't taught what it's like to feel safe in the presence and being held by the masculine. And true soulmate energy is a combination of what we were supposed to feel as a child, right? Like your birthright of feeling safe and held by the masculine and being allowed to play and love yourself and experience being a feminine. And I get to be all of those things in this relationship all the time, right? I get to experience that every single day. I get to feel safe and grounded. I get to also be nourished as I need to move into my masculine at times. Any space and energy that I am in now, it gets to be matched and met as it needs to be. And that's what this really is about, that who you were divinely meant to be as a child, you get to be now as a woman. And the divine soulmate relationship gives you the space and permission to do that
Yeah, I
at all
love that.
times.
I love that. And I love the dynamic that you guys have. It's so beautiful. Talk to me about, because I know there's a lot of people out there, me included at the moment, who can feel the presence of someone. And like, for me, it's not a certain person, it's an energy at the moment.
It's an
I mean,
energy.
I've seen potentials with people, but it doesn't, I'm letting go of that.
Yeah.
But when you feel that and you know it and it's not showing up, and I know you said to me 6 months prior to Brando coming into your life, I nearly forgot his name. I was like, wait, what's his name? Brandon. I know that his name is Brandon. Coming into your life, you had this fuck it moment of being like, you fucking bring him to me. I'm fucking done. Like, fuck you, Sky Daddy. You bring me the man, because like, I am so sick of fucking doing this and I deserve this. And I
Yeah.
love that energy, right? I reached out that energy a couple days ago and I was like, you know what, fucking, we're meant to be together. We're going to be fucking together and you're going to bring him to me. But I love that. And so how did you shift from that needy, like, constant like searching, because we were both in that energy for so long of
Yeah.
like obsessing and searching, and like I know it's like, I know I have this like sacred union template, right? I fucking know it. I know it to be true so deeply in my soul, and I'm here to
Yeah.
teach this. I'm here to teach alongside someone. But it's this frustration of, where is he? Where is he? Like, where the fuck are
Yeah.
you? You know, how do you overcome that?
So the thing that even though I was like, I demand this. So if you look on my journal, I described him to a T, and one night I was like, you need to fucking bring him to me. And I was so demanding to the universe. I was like, I'm fucking done. Like, I do your job here on earth every single day. Like, I deserve my union. I've done all of these lessons. Like, I'm out, right? You bring him to me. And I was just done. I was like, this is what I deserve. I'm done with giving. And I mean, I'm like this in business and everything now. Like, this is the energy of us to move into. Like, we deserve to be held. And the difference was, I didn't stay in that energy. So that was one night. And then the next night I was like, all right, so it's happening. Cool. Thank you. And then I just cracked on with my life, like as if my whole body had placed my Amazon order for Brando, and I just cracked on. Now, I was on Hinge. So I was dating on Hinge, and I saw him, and he didn't match me the first time I was on it. And I don't know what it was, because like, truth be told, his actual profile didn't do it that much for me. But I was like, this person needs to match me and we need to talk. And I was waiting for him to match me. And then I deleted my Hinge. And I was like, no, because I'd met someone else and I was dabbling in dating this guy. But like, he genuinely gave me the ick a little bit. And I was like, this isn't my person. And I knew it. And I had to set my boundaries. And I'm really big on teaching conscious communication. So a big part of what we've done as divine as wounded feminines, shall we say, is this is my boundary. And then when they don't meet it the first time, we don't communicate it, and then we cut them off, right? That's not how we grow into this soulmate energy. And I expressed my boundaries to this person, and they just continually showed me that they were not my person. So I was just like, yeah, I'm out. And then I just went back on Hinge for like 24 hours. And he then matched me and had messaged me. So we started this conversation, but I was like, listen, I'm not dating. I'm out of here. You can have my phone number. So I sent him a number and I deleted Hinge, and that was it. We started texting, and for about 3 months, we were texting back and forth, and he was moving to the Gold Coast. He was on the sunny coast. So it didn't seem urgent in any way. And I'd really felt like I needed to just do me. I was just doing me. And that's when I had the meltdown, right? I decided to do me. That's when I screamed at the universe. And that's when I said, deliver him to me. And literally within a week, he was like ringing me constantly. We were on the phone for hours a night. His energy changed and started to match the energy of what I was searching for, or had been searching for my whole life. And I was like, oh, this is interesting, but I still wasn't invested. And even he had butterflies going to our first date, and I was still like, I'm just going to go and see if it's a nice time. And I knew that first date. Like, I went home and I said to my mum, this is the man I'm going to marry. Like, I'm going to marry this person. I said it to Prowse. I said it to my mum, and that was it. Like, he's absolutely the person I'm going to marry, right? We were already, moved into a legal commitment with each other. And we're there. So it was a case of switching off to it. Like, I decided that, in fact, a decision that I made, and this is the big one, is if this is all my life got to be, I'm okay. I had to make pure peace with, if this is it, like, my life is beautiful and I'm fine with it, because I'm so over the energy of it being the wrong person and not being treated to the realms of my divinity, right? I was over it. And I was only going to entertain someone who showed me that they saw me and they understood me and that they truly, deeply wanted to make this a connection. And on our first date, we went for dinner, and we could feel something bubbling. And I went to the bathroom and I just kind of looked up, like midstream, mid-pee. And then and I looked up and I was like, this could be a thing. And I just like took a deep breath and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, right, okay, here we go. And I walked back out, and I swear to God, the universe went, yeah. I feel like the universe approved it. And then it happens. I don't think and I've said this, so I've seen my soulmate in all my past lives. We haven't had a life together. And I know this. And we've connected like when we were souls up in the sky, as I see it. And we communicated then that when we'd kind of got to a stage on our missions where we'd completed a lot of our tasks, that we would just find each other and give it a whirl. You know how you say to friends, if you meet when you're 40 and you're still single, that's what it feels like, but on a spirit level. And when I came back out, I felt like our spirit guides and the universe like put a stamp of approval and was like, yeah, let's just let them go with this. And if they have fun, it's going to work. And we did, right? And we just went with it. And it became the calmest, most beautiful divine connection I've ever experienced in my life. And he is my best friend, first and foremost.
I love how you were saying about the curiosity and the openness, and you had no expectations, and you were just like, you couldn't even see these aspects of him because you were just like, whatever. And it's so interesting. That's been showing up a lot for me recently, of like, when I'm curious and open, and like I've been talking on here about how I've opened myself up to dating, and I'm just like literally no attachment, just going out. And because of that, people are showing me who they truly are. And then I'm saying, are you aligned? Are you not aligned? I'm not making assumptions based on a dating profile or based on something that they say or who they tell me they are. I'm letting them show me who they are, and then being like, is this aligned? Or seeing timelines with people that I would never have anticipated that's the type of person that I'd be with. And it's something new and different, and it's like this, the universe will bring you what you need, and maybe that's not always what you think that you need, but it's always what's the best for you, right?
Yeah. And like, okay, so I have a tip on this. This is a hack. Do a higher self meditation before you go on any dates, right? It can be 2 minutes, it can be whatever, but tap into your higher self and go on to your dates as the higher version of you. The version of you from 12 months time that is already being divinely loved. And then on these dates, because I used to put people on a pedestal, like you've just said, we used to lose ourselves. The biggest change that I made when I started going on these dates was I started questioning whether they deserved a seat at my table, right? Show me you deserve a seat here.
I love that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna see if we match. And it stopped being like, I need to show you why I am worthy of your love. And it started to be a game. It started to be a game of, you show me why you deserve a seat at my table, right?
I
Like,
love that.
I am here in my divinity. I'm ready to give. I'm ready to create a family. I'm ready to give to my person. So like, pretend it's like the X factor of my soul. Like, come and show me, come and fight for me. Like, back in the day, if you go like ancient times in history, like, you would see people battling for the love of a queen, the love of a goddess. Like, they would challenge for this. And yet we're here like, love me, love me, love me, and
I love
belittle
this.
ourselves.
Yeah.
Fuck that. So
I
I
love,
started to
love,
act like
love
it was
the
my
energy of
seat.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I had this reflection from one of the men I went on a date with, who then ghosted me because, I don't know, he messed, it was like a whole thing and it was really funny. It was a beautiful lesson, but he was saying to me, and I was like, fuck, I love this. He was like, every time I go on the date, I sit there and I'm like, looking at this woman, just being like, tell me why you should be the mother of my children. Like, why should you be the mother of my children? And I was like, I
Yeah.
fucking love that energy. I'm going to go into every date from now on being like, show me. If you're meant to be this person for me, show me in how you're showing up and who you are. And it's like, another friend of mine was saying a couple months ago when we were talking about this, about how I desire someone to claim me straight away and want me and want to be with me, and like, I'm yours, like that energy of being claimed by the masculine. And she's like, Beck, let them show you, like, decide if you even want to be claimed by them first. Like, they haven't given you enough for you to even decide that you want this person to claim you. So I fucking love that energy. It's like big vagina energy. I love it. And it really moves into the next kind of topic, which I think you want to speak into. And I feel like you have a lot to share around the energy of having it all, and this energy of like declaring, I get to fucking have it all, and I get to I get to raise my standard for life. And it's such a beautiful topic to dive into. So talk to me about the energy of having it all. I know you've got a lot to say on this topic.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to hit us with a disclaimer here, because those of you like I used to who resonate with the female empowerment, doing everything alone, are about to get triggered. Because I used to be a feminist. I used to be the like cheerleader for the female empowerment industry.
I'm laughing because it's like, literally, I dropped a fucking bomb on episode 7 around like how I'm not a feminist, and I've had 2 guests, and both of you guys, and I know you're my friends, so you're gonna align with kind of like my view, but I'm like, yes, someone else. So I'm gonna shut up now.
Fuck being a feminist in 2023. Like, it's not how it's meant to be, right? And I've literally just been writing a post about things that I used to believe, and on that list is that the future is female, and it's not. And I love women, and I used to love feminism because I used to be like, women are equal. We're not equal, and we're not meant to be equal. We create the entire human race. Like, we are the creators, and they are here to support us. They are here to put us up on our stage and let us shine. And we're meant to build together. Like, we have our unique strengths, and trying to be equal shrunk me. Trying to be equal to a man shrinks my power, because I'm bigger and more expansive. And so that was my first point as we go into this conversation, because having it all is so subjective to you and your soul. And I tricked and lied to myself for my entire life that I had to be this strong, independent woman that had it all herself. Now, for a long time there, that's who I needed to be. I needed to be the solo female traveler to go and explore the world. I needed to get all of that exploration out of my system. But having it all to me means having the rent covered and being able to bake foods, cook foods, bake what I want to bake, having it all to me is building our dream home together and having babies and having a much more relaxed life than any pressure I've ever put on myself. It doesn't mean designer cars and designer cars, designer handbags, all of those expensive things. It means love and union and family. And so I really do speak on having it all, because I believe that you get to have a business, you get to have money, you get to have love, and you get to have everything that you want. But the big what's the word I'm thinking of? The big lie in the online world is that having it all looks a certain way, right? And the reason that you're not manifesting your dreams is because it's not your authentic all, right? You're either thinking too small because it's someone else's dream, or you're shrinking yourself to fit in the vision of somebody else, or shrinking yourself to fit in the vision of what you think you should have, right? And if you'd have told me 5 years ago that my idea of having it all is to be a mum and to be a partner, like be someone's wife, be someone's girlfriend, I'd have gone, get fucked. I'd have gone, no, I'm a female empowerment. Like, they can be my partner. Blah, blah, blah. No. I am here to grow with him. And I love being gay. Like this morning, we couldn't sleep this morning. So we woke up at 3:00 in the morning. We're like, should we just get up? And we're like, yeah. So we got up and we were chatting. And then we went for a walk at 4 a.m. And then I made him breakfast before he went to work, because I have the time and love to do that. Right. But I used to tell myself, because my last relationship, that was expected, and I was treated very poorly, I'd put the wrong label around what it meant to be a house, like build a house with someone, build a love and relationship with someone, because I wasn't shown the true way of doing it. Whereas now it feels beautiful. And if someone's having it all right now is to go and live in Bali, like, I truly love that for you, because I was there once. But allow your all to change. Like, your all has to change for you to expand. And I think people just keep themselves small again, because they think the dream that they had once, and this is where I got stuck in the last 12 months, is I was still targeting, I guess, an audience that I don't resonate with anymore as well. And I was losing followers and I was losing clients. And it was only this weekend, actually, that I turned to brand. I was like, oh, no wonder I'm losing followers and clients, because my old story was to talk to the single woman who wanted to travel the world. Now all I want to do is build a house and create reels and TikToks from my kitchen and just share the wisdom of where I'm at today, which is in a relationship, wanting a family. And we have to allow ourselves and our all to grow with us as we expand.
This. Yeah, because this is so similar. My journey over the past 6 months has been so similar, of letting go of needing to be this entrepreneur, influencer, fucking like nomadic lifestyle. And my having it all is living on not a farm, but like living on a property, like quiet near my family, making music all fucking day, like being a housewife. I want to be a fucking housewife. I'm Greek. It's in my genetics. Like,
how badly do you want to grow your own vegetables?
That doesn't excite me. My husband can do that for me.
Like, honestly, I can't wait
but the
to
cleaning,
just have my own land and
the
grow
cleaning, the cleaning and cooking, happy to do that. The taking care of the babies, like, right? But that used to be, I would like be so ashamed with myself if 6 months ago I told myself and I admitted to myself that truly I desire this grounded, like simple life where it was easy and, small and just nurturing and grassroots, but that's truly what my soul desires. So I was trying to have this big vision that I was told I needed to have 10K, 20K months, like big business, all this stuff that we're sold as this vision that, to me, that's not actually aligned. Like, I know I'm here to reach a lot of people, but who says I'm going to be making a lot of money doing that? Like, maybe my husband's going to have money and he's going to support me. Maybe I'll make just enough to be able to survive. Like, who cares, as long as I have this stability and this nurturing. And I love that. And I love that you said that, because it gives people permission to really like feel into what is your true soul desire, not the one that you were told you need to have, right? Talk about this a lot in episode 1. So if you haven't caught that episode, go back, literally deep dive into this. And so many people have been finding that helpful. We're going to wrap it up. I think that was a beautiful thing to end with. So I would love for you to tell us how people can find you if they've resonated with your messages and what you're bringing into the world. If they are this new soul client that you're calling in around all the things that you just spoke into, how can people find you and what is it that you're offering at the moment? And yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this space to be able to share as well. So come and find me on Instagram and TikTok. I share so much about this, right? My name on both of them is Ashlie Lisanne, or I am Ashlie Lisanne. So we can definitely tag those for you. And I share so much on these journeys and these topics. At the moment, I'm creating new offerings built around you having it all and what that means. We've got masterminds and courses and programs coming for you to just explore your soul and experiment. My programs this year are all about collaboration and experimentation. So right now, the one that we're teaching at the moment is called Learn to Love, and it's teaching you how to learn to love after a lifetime of not being taught how, right? Those masculines that we spoke about, we have a 4-week program to teach you how to reconnect with your energy of love for all your relationships, romantic, client, and platonic as well. But the drop-ins that we're doing for this whole year is to guide you on your having it all journey and explore what that means for you. So come and find me, send me a DM, and we can just chat about whatever it is you need to chat about.
I love that. Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming on here, beautiful soul. Thank you for your light. I'm really fucking excited.
Thank you for
and happy
having
you.
me.
Yeah, it's beautiful to see you step into all of the things that you are so fucking worthy of. So hopefully soon we can have some double dates.
Oh my God,
around
yeah.
a kitchen table. Yeah, amazing. Calling that in. And thank you everyone who has joined us and who has been listening. Until the next time, I love you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Cracked Open. Don't forget to hit subscribe and share with a friend if this episode has served you in any way. For more information about the work that I do or to get in touch with me, read the show notes or head to beckmylonis.com. Until next time, beautiful soul.